the first layer of how you should do your lead gen, because building a group will take a long time. I'll tell you that straight up. It will take a long time, a lot of effort. And it could work, don't get me wrong. And it's definitely a good strategy depending on what you're selling. Like, what are you looking to sell there?
So we sell like basically a done for you package for e-commerce brands. So TikTok ads, content creation for TikTok, and also like organic marketing on TikTok. So it's a whole like TikTok package with influencers.
Okay, yeah, and by the way, you can refresh your variant CRM. You should see that button now. Okay.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I got it.
Okay, nice. So yeah, for the for like what you're selling, I think a Facebook group is less powerful. Because done more like coaching style would be good for Facebook groups. I would say like done for you, if that's the main push, then you should focus on like more like direct marketing style platforms. Do you know what I mean? So for example, and we're talking like minimal budgets, right? So like we're not trying to spend a lot of money here. So like I'll make a quick lucid chart just kind of explaining the sequence of your lead gen and how you should like approach it. It shouldn't be something that you just try to like do a bunch of stuff like right out the gate. Try a lot of stuff, of course, definitely try things, but
yeah,
obviously when you try things, there's a cost associated with that, right? So you're not trying to bleed yourself out. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm still like use this to like what I should do in terms of lead generation. The thing that's been working somehow for me is like LinkedIn. So posting content, engaging with other people, and yeah, just having like genuine conversations with other business owners.
Nice. Yeah, that's like, see, but the thing is like how many leads are you generating a month, for example, from that?
I mean, when I do it consistently, it will be like maybe 20 a month.
So what we should do is look at different ways that you can actually start doing more low cost lead gen that will lead to way higher success, right? That's number one thing. It's like, of the 20, let's just say that you're signing up every month, like as a lead, like how many of those close, how many new clients are you bringing on board right now?
Like I said 20 as like, that's if I do it, consistently. But like I've signed a few clients in October, then I've been busy with client work. Now I got a media buyer. So like I would say for my package, my closing rate is around like 15% from the calls that I had, which weren't that many.
Okay, so what I would say is like, look, if I'm going to give you just like a roadmap, there's a few things that you can do that are really cheap. And because like what's the goal with tier 1 lead gen? It's to have low cost, right? That's the number one goal. Like when you first start your lead gen, you're not trying to like go bankrupt or like, or like spend a lot of money. Like you want to have low cost. And that's why you're using LinkedIn, because it's not costing you a lot of money, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So what you need to do is add more channels just like that don't cost anything or little to nothing, right? But have a high like output, and that's just tier 1 lead gen. Then we move to tier 2 lead gen and tier 3 lead gen, and the lifespan and how those different tiers work is a lot different each time. So for example, low cost is the approach for tier 1 lead gen. So you can use RFPs. You can use, for example, we just said LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn outreach. That's pretty cheap. LinkedIn outreach. What
do you mean by RFPs?
Yeah, we'll go over that in a minute. You can do cold email blasts. Okay, that won't cost you anything. And what you can also do, and this is like honestly the best thing, is you can do cold calling. Okay, you should be cold calling businesses every single day, or like either you or an SDR that you hire should be doing 100 calls per day. Should be dialing 100 calls per day from your business. Okay, that same person who's doing the 100 calls per day, he or she can also do one cold email blast in the morning before they start their cold calls. They do a big email blast with 50 to 100 contacts on the email blast. They send that off every morning. Then they do 100 cold calls for the remainder of their day while you're automating your LinkedIn outreach. So you're still doing the LinkedIn yourself, like managing those conversations. Okay. Now RFPs, this is like the number one thing. If I go to the curriculum, there's an RFP video. Can you go right now, Ian, to the curriculum and just tell me the name of that video with the RFP in it? It's under lead gen.
Yep, so I've got RFP hunting and landing larger deals, and also how to find RFPs online and bid extremely well to close the deal.
Okay, I want you to watch both of those, Ian, today, okay?
Okay.
Today, you're going to watch both of those videos on RFPs. You're going to understand exactly what an RFP is, bro, and you're going to be able to do it. And I also, in those videos, I show you how I pitch RFPs too. So like you'll be able to see how to source out RFPs completely free. And these are like not small deals. RFPs are either like small, they're either small and like because you're using micro RFP strategy where you're going after these micro databases, or they're big projects where they're like 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, 100,000, $500,000 projects, right? So it's kind of like you have your micro RFPs and you have your macro RFPs, okay? You can decide which one you want to source out. I would recommend, Ian, when you watch the video today, that you focus on the micro RFPs, okay? You focus on those. Those are cheap, okay? You have the LinkedIn outreach running. That's already happening right now, so that's great. You just need to hire an SDR. So let me show you what this would look like. You would just need to hire... Hold on one second. For this portion of what we're doing, okay, for these two, you're just going to hire an SDR, right? So for you, we'll call it appointment setter, okay? Not even, I call them SDRs, but you know, appointment setter. SDR stands for sales development representative. It's the same thing as appointment setter. This appointment setter, you're going to hire from the Philippines. And that's going to cost you roughly... let's just say like a good one will cost you like $300 US for the month. Okay. So that's not expensive at all to get 100 calls minimum done per day with an email blast done per day. Okay. So like 100 cold calls a day with a good script. And then I also, in the course, Ian, there's also a video on how I cold call and what kind of script I use, right? I think it's in the sales module or it's in the cold calling section. But you're able to see the exact script that I use, and you can just use that exact script and change it up for a different niche, for example, or use the same niche, whatever you want. And effectively what you're doing is you're getting someone offshore to hit that list, okay, every single day, 100 people a day, contacting with a winning script, right? And that's like not like ad spend. This is in your control. This is something that you can do every day. You can cold call these people today and you can cold call dentists tomorrow, right? It's completely in your control. It's only ever going to cost you $300 a month for that hire. And then you just need to spend some time building a script, which I give you a template for, so it shouldn't take too long. And that's it. And then now you have this happening in the background. This is tier 1 lead gen. This is low cost lead gen. You start this process, you will have tons of leads coming in just on these 4 items. Okay. So RFPs, LinkedIn outreach, cold emails, and cold calling. Okay. You with me still?
Yes. Yeah.
So this is what you focus on now. This is like where you're at now. So focus on these now. And this will allow you to get to tier 2. Okay. Tier 2 is a little bit different. It's not really low cost anymore. Like I'd say it's like not low, but medium cost, right? So it's medium cost, but it's like we'll say like higher quality. Okay. And the tier 2 is a little different in that when you're doing tier 2, you're focused on a few different strategies. So you're focusing on, for example, like things like SEO, With tier 2, you're trying to set up inbound and outbound. So you're trying to have inbound leads coming in, and then you're also trying to have outbound leads coming in, right? So for example, cold email blast, Eon, is that inbound or outbound?
Outbound.
Cold calling?
Outbound.
LinkedIn outreach?
Outbound.
And then RFPs, you don't know what that is yet, but you'll find out.
Inbound.
Yes, exactly. This is kind of like half outbound, half inbound, actually. It's both. It's a hybrid one, actually, the RFPs. SEO is all inbound. So SEO is like, for example, you see my screen, if I type in Toronto Digital Marketing Agency in Google, these are all ads, right? So no one clicks on ads. Most people go to the SEO, to the like actual like listing. So we're here, right? We're actually, like, if I do incognito, we're actually higher up. I think we're like number 2 or number 1, but since my search history is here or whatever, we're here, you see? So we're going to get some inbound leads that are high quality, that are looking for an agency to work with in Toronto. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, another thing is they can type in SEO services Toronto, right? And that's, and like SEO is a whole different ballgame. We could talk about it like for hours, but you know, for example, do I rank for this one? I think I'm on page 2 actually for this one. We used to be page 1. Yeah, it's no worries. No, we're not there anymore. We used to be there. Bottom line, irrelevant. You focus on SEO. We rank for a few things. Like we have like 4 or 5 keywords that are bringing us lots of really high quality leads. And it's not, remember, this is not volume, right? Low cost, but this is also low volume. Okay. This is medium cost, higher quality, and then higher volume. What you're doing with SEO is not high volume. Okay, it's just going to bring you quality people who have lots of bigger budgets that want to spend. The next strategy that you want is you want to start focusing on things like your personal branding, right? Because this is also an inbound strategy that can bring in tons of really high quality leads. Okay, so, and you see how tier 2 is starting to look a lot different than tier 1, correct? It's a different undertaking entirely, and it's a completely different like approach, but it's similar in nature because certain things you're going to start scaling. For example, cold calling, you still do. You're just going to go cold calling times 3. Does that make sense? So you're going to get 3 appointment setters now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then for this one here, like we can say another tier 2 could be like doing like this could be like you said, Facebook community, right? So this would be more of a tier 2 thing when you have more leads already coming in, low cost, regularly, and they're closing, like from tier 1, like you have that in the works. Now you can start spending time doing these kinds of things, which is like personal branding, SEO, right? Cold calling, scaling your cold calling initiative, right? Having more, building a Facebook community, right? After this, we get into tier 3, okay? And this is going to be high cost. This is going to be highest quality. And this is going to be highest volume, okay? So it's going to be pretty much paid advertising. Okay, so paid advertising. Paid ads will be like your main way to scale anything. Like, and remember, why do I put paid ads in tier 3? It's because the only time you use paid ads is when you've created a system that works, okay? And it's been working. All you're looking to do is scale what is already working, right? You're trying to put gas into the fire. The fire is already there. Paid ads is not for igniting the fire. You have to ignite the fire using these other strategies. Once the fire is ignited, you use paid ads to pour gas on the fire. Does that make sense? To make the fire bigger, scale the fire. But you're not supposed to be testing things too much with paid ads. you want to be testing your offers and finding product market fit and, doing your outbound outreach first in a low cost mentality. Then you move to more medium sort of cost. And that's like you're getting into SEO, personal branding, cold calling, community building, whether that's via email, Discord, Facebook, doesn't matter where your community is. That's a good strategy. It's medium cost. And then you get into paid ads, right? And paid ads is like massive. There's a whole different approach to how you would do paid ads. You're looking to reel in fish, hook them in. Once you get them, you're supposed to actually nurture them, convert them, hold their hand every step of the way to get on the phone with your sales team. Does that make sense? So you don't even need paid ads, Eon, until you have a sales team. You're not going to build a sales team of closers until this is built. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Once you do this, you're going to need closers, because if all these green boxes are set up, every single one of them, or like they're being worked on at least, like you're not going to even have the calendar space to handle all these leads coming in. You're not even going to be able to handle it. So and that's at tier 2, you're not going to be able to handle it, right? So what you're going to need to start doing is you're going to need to start hiring. So your calendar alone will be flooded just from this one appointment setter doing this one email blast and this one cold call. Your calendar, you'll have 8 to 10 appointments on your calendar per day. On top of the LinkedIn outreach and RFPs, your time's really not really there. You're on sales calls all day, right? And then your goal is, while you're on sales calls closing deals, you then start hiring service. Make sense? Once you hire service, you can now focus on selling more. You focus on that till you get to tier 2 lead gen setup. Once you set up the tier 2 lead gen, you're going to need another closer, Eon. Okay. So what you do is you go hire another closer similar to you, find them online, find them locally in your community. It doesn't matter how you find them. You just got to get another closer, set it up so that they don't get paid a base salary until they actually close their first deal. Does that make sense, Eon? So they have to break the ice, Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. So once they break the ice, then you can start giving them whatever base and all these other things. But really it's these two should be set up first, and then we move on to paid ads, which is the ultimate one. And with this one too, I don't want to just shy away on just what this is. There's also more, right? So there's also influencer marketing. This is when you're paying tier 1 influencers like Jake Paul, people like that. You're doing partnerships and endorsements, right? So you're doing big partnerships, right? You're doing sponsorship or sponsorship activations, right? These are bigger placements, right? So much bigger marketing, right? You would do here in tier 3. But does that kind of give you a roadmap? Does that make sense to you now? In terms of how you should be hitting this?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's really helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Awesome.